Yeah. Hey, I know I missed the first couple of minutes of the show. Did we mention anything about the dynasty? Because
No.
yeah, there was this good guy, a real good friend of mine, sent me a clip this morning about some of the people not being happy with how the dynasty, how the documentary was
Yeah. Portrayed.
how it portrayed. Yeah, I thought that was a good find. Like I said, that guy who sent it to me is a great guy. He's a good friend of mine.
You know, you got to keep looking at all the sources you can for all the information you can get. And Devin McCourty, Rodney Harrison talked about the dynasty, and they were kind of disappointed in some of the ways that the director tried to take it because they said there was so much more information that could have been on the players instead of focusing on some of the things that he tried to focus on. He said, but they were trying to make Bill the bad guy, and they were trying to build it around Robert Kraft and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and so a lot of things got left on the cutting room floor. But they had some good points about the players. There were a lot of players. Willie McGinnis, a lot of players came through New England and showed out.
Yeah.
They just didn't give enough people props during that. They got too stuck in it. Aaron Hernandez should have never got any burn, and if he got
they should have took the whole Aaron Hernandez
and let it go.
Out.
It's a unanimous understanding that we felt like that was something that we could have just skipped over.
Yeah.
And we could have just hit fast forward on that whole thing. He should.
But as you see, a lot of it was looking for controversy.
Yeah.
In search of controversy. They gave you those tidbits that give you the controversy pieces,
Right, yeah. So when you're talking about some of the things we talked about in the past, these players, man, they really dug down deep, to play for, like
Bill Belichick.
They worked for Bill, but they played for Tom. But clearly, Bill Belichick had some control over what was going on that field as well. He had a good feel for what was needed, because I know I hate to go back here, but because 4-13 is 4-13, but
that's right, baby. That's right. 4-13.
But he still had a lot of those guys still playing hard.
But you gotta have a product that people are willing to build into or believe into. So if you can create just a thought, guys, this is what we do. Each man does his own job. They're like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Okay, each man does his own job. We don't talk to the media. Okay, that's cool. So we don't talk to the media. You know what I'm saying?
Easier.
You give those little slogans that people will buy into. And then once they buy into, they'll drive it into the ground because they believe it.
Yeah.
Right. But through time, and that's good for 4 years or 5 years, but 20 years is a little long before people are gonna start sticking holes in your slogans and trying to make problems here or problems there, and just to kind of break it all up because they want to win too.
Right, and I think the players that were the big marquee names that actually shot their way out of town for money. What the interesting thing is, those are the same three players that give the Patriots as much praise that you could give a team. After their careers were over, when they look back, they were like, "Listen, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would stay with the Patriots."
Yeah. There's been some that said that.
Yeah, Randy Moss, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, they were ones that wanted that bag, but they never lost respect for the organization.
Yeah, but guys, and we're gonna go with Gronk. Gronk said there's a lot. I don't know. Maybe you can just split the praise down the middle, 50%, because there's so much when the other players talk about Brady also being a coach and demanding basically the same things that Belichick was demanding, that you're precise, that you do your job. If you don't go to the right spot, I'm not throwing you the ball.
Right.
Spending lots of time after practice, going over tapes, going over film. I watched what was it, Hogan? What was his name? Steve Hogan? Who was the guy? He was a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
He did a series and he was talking about, he said Belichick would sit with him and go over things. So he would teach him things. And he said Brady would do the same thing. And he said they didn't have to do that, but they did have to do that if they wanted success. And they were willing to do that. unlike most quarterbacks and coaches who say, "Okay, you're on your own. Have a nice day. Figure it out."
Yeah. Or you know what? When you walk out off these facilities, you know you're out of touch until you walk back on, and the Patriots they weren't like that. So if they didn't see, because we always wonder like, why would they let that guy go? There were some things that they saw that they just didn't want any part of.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. You were the one who was like hammering the Patriot Way. Now you're uplifting it. Which one? Which on which side do you want to be on?
And I want to be very clear when I was hammering.
Okay, let's hear about this very clear.
I want to be very clear when I was hammering the Patriot Way. What I'm saying is that we were putting so much praise in quote unquote the Patriots Way, but at the same time, you know, they overlooked some stuff because they were they were adamant and putting out what they thought was the best opportunity to win. So they overlooked some stuff, which is why you had some of the nonsense that ultimately became aired in the public down the road, right? So
I think that has to do with Aaron Hernandez, but Rodney Harrison and Devin McCourty, they both had praise for Corey Dillon coming in and doing their thing. Randy Moss, you know, players that were maligned and came in and, you know, put the pedal to the metal, you know, being the best versions of themselves. And so they had so much praise for those people.
Right.
Corey Dillon did it best. He came in for 1 year, went to the Super Bowl, and retired.
Did he just do it 1 year? I thought he. Yes. No, did 1 year. Okay, yeah.
Clark killing Dillon.
Yeah, that boy he was like what was the boy Theismann? No, Riggins from the Redskins. Like to dig him deep, he's going through Earl Campbell type runner. Yeah, that boy. Yeah, that boy was bad.
I think Corey Dillon played more than one season because he came back the following season.
Did he?
Yeah, he played. He played more than one season because he was the leading rusher one of the seasons, and then I think the following he came back. But you know, nevertheless, we're talking about these guys that came in with, you know, a marginal past, but they got to the Patriots, showed out.
They showed out. They were the best versions of themselves, and you know those things are pretty good. So when we talk about the Patriots, since we're talking about the dynasty, I've learned so much, but I'm still mad about Malcolm Butler. I'm not letting him off the hook for Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler's he's not even sure whether to be mad. It's funny because he was like, I still don't know.
They've signed non-disclosures now. They can't talk about it. So
Dillon played 3 seasons. 3 seasons.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure there's some inkling, but they won't talk about it. But Kraft let it out the bag. He said it was something personal. Between.
Still don't answer the question.
Butler.
Well, you know what?
I know, but at least we know that it wasn't a football decision. It was a personal decision between something personal between Belichick and Butler.
Belichick's wife looked at him a certain way or something.
Somebody locally had mentioned they went down this road. Somebody locally had mentioned that he had made advances to someone that Bill held in very high regard, and he didn't like it. I mean, if that's the case, you know what? Play him and trade him, but you don't sit him down. You know what I mean?
Not only that, you didn't pay the guy any money.
You don't lose the game for it. You don't lose. But there's 53 other people that are looking at it like I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, no, you didn't pay the guy the money before that, so he wasn't coming back next year. He was a free agent right after that game, so it didn't matter, Bill. It didn't matter. He was a free agent. I don't know what got stuck up your craw or whatever you might want to call it, but not playing him was not best for the team.
And everybody agrees that was the reason they lost that game.
Yeah, well, it's like us three.
In the voice of Belichick, I don't agree. Any other question?
No.
I'm a pit up
I answered that question.
Money long, but I heard your songs. They all meaningless. They mad at me like I wrote the word, but I'm just preaching it. Ay, everybody get exposed. Pray for all my foes, but it's that narrow road. Ay, these rappers gon' sell they soul. I don't care if they hate me.